Hi, so Web Summit in Portugal. Just another update for one of the really interesting discussions we heard this morning. So the discussion was all about unlocking developer velocity, and the presentation was given, or the panel discussion included the CEO and founder of a tool called SourceGraph, and a one of the VCs who's invested in SourceGraph, who's an ex-Google software engineer. And whilst a lot of the discussion was quite developer focused, one of the interesting perspectives they had is the major challenges that non-tech companies have when they're trying to stand up software teams, and certain things that they underestimate in that setup. And what they talked about was the notion that as you increase the number of developers in your team and you become a larger developer organization, the complexity of your code stack just massively proliferates, and 80% of the time that of your developers are spending is all on searching for, looking at old code, making that process more efficient is primarily the discussion point that they were focused on. They also said that it's an area where we underinvest in tooling. So obviously we know that we need tools to manage workflows and to manage backlogs and that sort of thing, and testing, but we often don't think about how we're organizing and understanding our code, and how we can facilitate better collaboration between teams. An example they cited where sometimes in tech companies all over the world, you shouldn't need to travel to a site and visit developers that developed a piece of code years ago in order to understand the impact of a change that you're making in another part of the solution, what it may do. Another thing that they spoke about is measuring velocity, and one of the things that they see as critical is linking developer velocity to business outcome. And they spoke about Jack Dorsey from Twitter being ahead on the curve on this one, and Twitter has a solution where they can essentially monetize or apply a value to the features that the developers are adding. And they see that as the best possible way that you can measure developer velocity. And they think it's an area, though, that is quite difficult. Any KPIs around developer velocity are inherently challenging. They see as a general guide, which as a way to try and measure or see how you're doing in terms of developer velocity, is your developer happiness. So essentially, the theory is if you have good developers, they're operating at a rate which is quick. Anyway, that was my thoughts. I'm sure we'll have some more.